Up next is the App of the Week segment. This is a segment dedicated to app demonstrations. Should you have an app that you would like to demonstrate for our listeners, feel free to send us the recording of such an app demo to contact us at blindandroidusers.com. And now for this week's episode, here's your App of the Week.
And now we move on to our App of the Week, and Warren demonstrates the Aurelian Audio Podcast Player.
Hi, for episode 191 App of the Week, this is demonstrating the Aurelian, Aurelian. Aurelian is a podcasting client, and it's a part of the Castro.fm group. For today's demonstration, I'm demonstrating this on my Galaxy S23 Plus, running One UI 6.11 and TalkBack 14.x. I am on the Play Store of the app, and I'll now navigate to the About so we hear the description of the app and you can decide as to whether or not this is an app you would like to be associated with. I'll now tap on that About and let's hear the description of the app, and then we'll go into the app and show you around. Here is the About.
About this app, heading. Google Play Store, Aurelian Audio Podcast Player, details, out of list. The Daily, interview shows, crime junkie, history podcasts, we have it all. Aurelian Audio cuts through the noise with its sleek, minimal design, simplifying your podcast experience while giving you all the tools you need to enjoy your favorite shows. It allows you to effortlessly stream or download podcasts from any public RSS feed and also integrates robust library management and smart synchronization features. The app supports video playback and lets you easily navigate your favorite genres. Whether you're a crime junkie, prefer interview shows with a guest, or only listen to history podcasts, we have it all. Finally, Aurelian blends its simple, clean design with the personalization of Material You, creating a delightful experience that is uniquely yours. Main features. Whenever a feed updates, you get it right away. Allows importing your entire library via OPML or a single RSS feed from your clipboard. Uses modern Android APIs for maximum performance and battery efficiency. We won't ask you to turn off battery saver just to listen to a podcast. Get notified about new episodes of your favorite shows. Displays storage info to help you manage your disk space. Wear OS companion app. It syncs your active queue and allows download and playback on the watch. The app also includes a basic tile for easy launching. Explore podcast categories. Find a podcast to help you learn English or get the daily from a variety of news sources. Customizable. Change sync frequency or older archive episodes as newer ones are published to the feed. Podcast widget. Supports premium feeds and password-protected podcasts from services like Wondery, Libsyn, Odyssey, Slate Plus, Podcast One, Earwolf, Radiotopia, and others. Android Auto support. Chromecast support. This app is freemium with a limited number of podcasts. Visit us on Reddit at https://www.reddit.com/r/Aurelian Audio/. Aurelian is now part of Castro Podcasts. https://castro.fm.
And that's the description of the app. As you can hear from the description of the app, this is a freemium app. In other words, there are no ads. The catch, however, is that you are limited to only 20 subscriptions. In other words, you cannot subscribe to more than 20 podcasts. So if you want to subscribe to more than that, then you'll have to pay. And I do want to mention here that the subscription is 99 cents a year. In other words, it's $1 annual subscription. I have subscribed to it, and now I'll go back and tap on the Open because I've already installed it. And then we'll go into it and see what it all has to offer. Let's go back to the main page of the app and tap on that Open.
Play Store. About this app, heading, in list.
I'll now scroll back to top and tap on Open.
Open button.
Here's the Open.
Aurelian. Library. Out of list.
As I indicated, whether you've paid for it or not, there are no ads, and the good news is that you could take it for a spin for 30 days without paying a dime. The first thing we heard is library, and that corresponds to the bottom tab that is selected. That's what all that means. And that's the information, the text string that you'll get on the top left. Moving right,
Search. Button.
we hear search, and to the right of that,
Drop-down menu. Button.
we hear drop-down menu. That's all that you have on the top. Now moving down,
Selected. Podcasts. Podcasts. Checkbox.
we got a couple tab-like tabs here. The first one says selected podcast and it's not selected. Then the second tab,
Not selected. Episodes. Episodes. Checkbox.
and that's to the right. That's all that we have. And now moving to the midsection, we come across
You don't subscribe to any podcasts.
there's a text string here that says you don't subscribe to any podcasts. In other words, you are not subscribed to any podcasts. Now, moving down,
Browse podcasts. Button.
we come across a button that says Browse Podcasts. Below that,
Or
you could
import an OPML file. Button.
tab here to import an existing OPML file that you may have from another podcast client. Moving on, now we have the tabs at the bottom, and starting on the bottom left, by default, library is selected.
Selected. Library. Tab. 1 of 4. In list. 4 items.
Next tab on the right,
Explore. Tab. 2 of 4.
Explore. You could go in here and explore all the different categories of podcasts and all of that. Next, to the right,
Now playing. Tab. 3 of 4.
now playing, of course, will show you what is currently being played. The last tab on the bottom right will be
Queue. 3 new notifications. Tab. Queue. 4 of 4.
queue would be the things that you've gotten in the queue, the things that you've queued for playback. I think I probably have Blind Android in there. That's what we have in the layout of the app. Let's go back up though to the top right corner where we saw that drop-down menu. I'll now move my finger to the top right part of the phone.
Drop-down menu. Button. Out of list. Pop-up window. Settings.
Tapping on the drop-down menu, we heard settings. And by the way, this is the only item here in the drop-down menu. I'll tap on the settings and look at what we have.
Aurelian. Navigate up. Button.
I'll now explore downward from here to navigate to top. I'll go downward and see the items contained from within the settings.
Aurelian Premium. Heading. In list.
We are told this is Aurelian Premium because I have paid for the 99 cents annual subscription. Below this heading though, we've got
Premium subscription. Manage your subscription.
you could go in here to manage the subscription. So if you're not subscribed yet, you could go here and do so. Next,
Appearance. Heading.
the appearance heading.
App theme. System.
Go in here and choose how you want it to look. Next,
New episode indicator. Show new episode bubble with feeds in your library. On. Switch.
next.
Download and sync. Heading.
We now come to the download and sync. Next,
Global feed settings. Configure options that apply to all feeds by default.
you could go in here and choose how things appear globally. It's totally up to you. Next,
Download queued episodes. Automatically download episodes when they're added to the queue. Off. Switch.
next,
Download only on Wi-Fi. Turning this on will reduce mobile data usage. On. Switch.
next.
Background sync interval. Every 3 hours.
You can go in here and change how often it will check for new episodes. Next,
Miscellaneous. Heading.
Coming across the miscellaneous heading, here's what we've got.
Storage.
We come across storage,
Import-export.
the importation and exportation. Next,
App info. Heading.
we come across the app info, and here's what we've got.
Help.
Help.
Acknowledgements.
Next.
Demo mode.
Next.
Version 2.3.3271.
And that's the last item. I'll go back. We are now back in the menu eye of the app. And here you could either tap on the search there on the top right, or you could tap on import your OPML, or you could tap on the Explore tab and go explore the different categories of podcasts that you could subscribe to. I do want to mention here in passing, however, that if you tap on the search and if you've searched for anything, you will see the history of the podcasts that you have searched for. For example, I have done a little bit of a search, and if I tap on my search, I'll tap on search and show you what it says.
Search. Button. Out. Back. Search for podcasts. Search for podcasts. Edit box. Showing English US QWERTY.
And you could simply search for what you are looking for. However, below that though, it will show you the history of the things that you've searched for. For example, if I put my finger down,
Search history item. Christian Research Institute.
I have searched for that. And I do want to mention also that this also supports video podcasts as well. I'm going to search for blind Android users.
Use voice typing.
Blind Android users. I double tap to stop the dictation, and now putting my finger near the top.
Blind Android users podcast. In list.
And I'll tap.
Keyboard hidden. Aurelian. Episode artwork. Image. Out of list.
Tapping on blind Android users, we're now on a page and we're being shown the image of the blind Android users. That is our logo here. And then moving my finger down, we come across
Blind Android users podcast.
moving down.
Technology. In list.
So it tells us the categories, technology podcast.
Go to episode website. Button.
There's a button there toward the right that says go to the website, and another button to the right of that
Share. Button.
is the share. Those are the buttons that you find there almost in the midsection of the phone on the right side. Moving down,
Blind Android users.
and to the right of that,
Collapse. Button. At Blind Android users, we strive to make using Android as easy as possible for every blind person who starts.
I just stopped it. So basically the whole idea is telling you what the information it sees and all of that. Moving down,
192 episodes.
next,
Episode artwork. 5 days ago, E190. In queue, episode 190. Third quarter app bonanza. 1 hour 16 minutes.
and below that you'll see the previous episode. And then toward the bottom on the right though, we have a drop down that says,
Drop down menu. Button. Out of list.
we got drop down menu button. And then below that,
Subscribe. Button.
there's the subscribe button. And that's what we have. So if I tap on subscribe, for example,
Subscribe. Button. Out of list. Success. Dismiss. Button.
so there was a toast message at the bottom of my screen saying, I have successfully subscribed to Blind Android Users Podcast. All right, let's see how we manage it. Let's tap on one of these episodes. I'm going to tap on the third quarter App Bonanza episode.
Episode artwork. 5 days ago, E190. In queue, episode 190. Third quarter app bonanza. 1 hour 16 minutes. Episode artwork. Image. Out of list.
I have tapped on episode 190. Let's see what we have.
1 hour 16 minutes.
And moving down.
74 megabytes.
Next.
48 meters 38 left.
So I have listened to it even though I wasn't subscribed to it, and it's telling me I have 48 minutes left.
Episode 190, App Bonanza. Announcements. Happy birthday to Accessible Android, which turned 1 this week.
There you see some of the show notes. Now, on the right-hand side, we have the
drop-down menu button.
That drop-down menu that we saw earlier on, and below that,
stream button.
Is the stream button. Now, if I tap on that drop-down menu,
but
we got
archive button, mark played button, download button, remove from queue button, drop-down menu button.
And I'm back to the drop-down, and below that,
stream button.
Stream button. I'm going to tap on the stream.
Or to give people who need your address but you might not know too well. And that app is Instant Address.
I just double tapped with 2 fingers to stop the playback. And now, before I bring this to a close, let's go ahead and take a look at the Now Playing tab, because in here we have some important items, including things like moving to chapters and all of that. I'll now tap on Now Playing.
Now Playing. Tap. Now Playing. Selected.
We are on the Now Playing tab, and that's the 3rd tab at the very bottom. Tapping on that Now Playing tab, we have some tabs at the very top. At the very top, by default, the artwork is selected. And then the 2nd tab on the right from the top left will be
Details. Tab 2 of 3.
The details, in other words, if you want to find the details of the podcast, that's where you will go to. And the last tab here,
Chapters. Tab 3 of 3.
We have Chapters tab. Before we move to the chapters, though, on how you go ahead in choosing what chapter to play, let's look at the other items here in the Now Playing tab. And now let's move our way down toward the bottom of the phone. And so after those tabs, in the middle of the phone, we come across the image.
Episode artwork. Image. In list. 3 items.
That's our logo. Now, moving down.
Episode 190. 3rd quarter app bonanza.
Moving down. Now, if you happen to be a swiper and you swipe from left to right here, wanting to move to the next controls and all of that, you will actually be changing the tab. So, for example, if I swipe
Detail.
See, now it moves me to the details. And if I put my finger near the top,
Selected. Details. Tab 2 of 3.
And if I move my finger down,
Blind Android users. Episode 190. App Bonanza. Announcements. Happy birthday to Access Spotlight. In this quarter's App Bonanza.
as you could see, that gives you all the information, that is the show notes and all of that. So now I'm going to tap on that artwork, the first tab on the top.
Artwork. Tab 1 of 3. In Artwork. Selected.
So the word here is, if you don't want to be taken to the next tab, then do not swipe. If you want to explore what is found on each of the tabs, then you don't swipe. But if you swipe, you'll be taken to the next tab. And if you swipe again, that will put you on the chapters tab, which is the 3rd tab. Let's look at what we have here below the image.
Episode 190. 3rd quarter app bonanza. In list. 3 items.
And below that, there are some buttons, and starting from the left toward the middle.
Sleep timer. Button. Out of list.
And once you find that, I believe you can swipe. Let me try to swipe.
Cast.
There
Disconnected.
we go. It makes sense. I can swipe. Next.
Listening history. Button.
We got the listening history, and I think I can still swipe. Swipe again.
37%. Slider.
There's a slider there that you can adjust the listening
Battery
position if
power
you wanted to do
15%.
that.
Charge your phone.
Oops, my battery's almost out, so I'm going to hurry here. Next.
28. 23.
That's how much is left. Next.
1 hour 16 minutes and 55 seconds.
That's the totality of the episode.
Audio settings, button.
Audio settings. These are buttons moving right again.
Seek back, button.
Next.
Play or pause, button.
Next.
Seek forward, button.
Next.
Episode actions, button.
And that's the last one, and below that will be the different tabs. Let's take a look at the episode actions.
Pop-up window, download.
Next.
Mark played.
Next.
Archive.
Next.
View episode details. View podcast.
Next.
Cue next in series.
And that's the last one. Let's go back.
Episode actions, button.
And now I'll tap on the chapters tab near the top and
Chapters, tab, 3 of chapters, selected.
I am now in the chapters and putting my finger near the top.
1. Intro, 0 in list.
Move my finger down.
2. Announcements, 355.
Move my finger down.
3. Audios play demo, 740.
So if I want to hear this, for example, I just tap.
Artwork, tab, 1 of 3, in list, 3.
Welcome to the Spotlight segment. This is a segment dedicated to interviews
Selected.
with developers. And that's how you manage your chapters. And that concludes the Aurelian. Thanks for listening.
Warren, you enjoying your podcast apps at the minute?
I do. We're a podcast, and so the more choices people have there in the way of podcast clients, I thought this is a good idea to put those things in there. And I think one of these days we'll also do the Addict. Have we ever done any demo of the Addict? I don't think so.
If anyone
You're
would have
kind
done
of
it, would have been me, I think.
Yeah.
I can't remember if I did.
You're doing your own series on podcast apps now. You finished your series on reading apps. You've worked your way into.
Yeah, exactly. So
We'll have to make some playlists on YouTube. for these type of-
Obviously.
exactly.
Yeah.
So on
Like
the
10
podcasting app.
podcast apps you should try in 2024.
Thank you very much. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So Ed, if we don't have the Addict, could you do that or else?
yeah, probably.
I just don't
it's-
like that app. I don't know. The last time I checked on it, it was
It's
too much.
convoluted.
Yeah, too
Mhm.
much.
I like it. But so what's your favorite podcast app at the minute, Warren, having demonstrated about 750 of them in the past month?
Well, to be honest, I'm kind of torn. Hard torn. I really like both I like the Aurelian, I like the antenna part, and I also like the audios. And I think the thing that I like about the audios is that ability to record. And I tell you, I've been using that thing a lot. And all of these three apps, have no ads, and that's what I like about them. And if you want the Aurelian, as I indicated, though, it's $1 a year. You're supporting the development and all of that. So, but these three have become my favorite podcasting apps. I used to be a Pocket Cast guy. I haven't used Pocket Cast ever since I started using these three podcasting apps.
Well, in this case, I'm much more traditional. I like Spotify for music and podcast together.
So Spotify, I like for music, but I'm a bit.
Yeah.
I refuse to use it for podcasts because I don't think
No,
podcasts and
it's pure for
exclusivity should be a thing. And Spotify have exclusive podcasts. I don't think that's what a podcast
Yeah,
should
yeah.
be. It should be an RSS and an audio thing. And any podcast should be available on any podcast client. So I'll never use Spotify for podcasts. Just on.
That makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
But if you want to record radio, I mean, the one I used probably since 2020 that will do it, and I think a guy on our email list recommended it when I first switched to Android, is V Radio,
V-Radio is the
and that's
best
free.
for,
That's free.
yeah, for
So they even
online
have to pay
radio.
$1 a year. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that will record. So that's what I tend to do. It won't. The BBC gets very exclusive as well, which annoys me. So it can't get a lot of BBC stuff when it plays sport, but other things it will record.
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably
and
why.
for me, there's a TV station that I like to, watch now and then. I used to watch it. It's called the Newsmax. They had the app, but now I couldn't use it anymore, or I can't use it anymore because you have to be the Plus subscriber and all of that. So the Audios player, goes around that because I could just use that and watch Newsmax and record stuff that I want to record. So definitely the Audios player is my choice
Nice.
here.
Yeah, and you didn't have too many ordeals using it, which is good.
Yeah, exactly, Window.
I actually have been using AntennaPod for the last week, and I think that's my new favorite. So I was using Pocket Casts, but I use Pocket Casts off and on because any Pocket Cast users know they break it every once in a while, and like they broke the Explore by Touch functionality at one point, and then recently they made it so that when you were swiping between items, you had to swipe twice, and they mess it up every once in a while. So that's annoying, but I've been using AntennaPod, and I think I'm going to keep using it because it's the perfect combination of having a very simple, easy to navigate interface, but also having a lot of features and customization that you can do to it in the settings. So I'm really liking it.
And I think for me, another nice thing about all of these is that a nice podcasting app, and I'm not saying Pocket Casts doesn't, but a nice podcasting app should support both audio and video, and all of these do support that. So you can't go wrong with either. You just have to choose which one you prefer. The only thing that's missing in Audios Player, and maybe I missed it, but I didn't see a chapter support. That's the only feature that I wish they will implement. But other than that, AntennaPod and the Aurelian both support chapters. So there's always a little trade-off in one way or the other.
And what about Aurelian and syncing across devices? Because that can be a killer feature for some people, can't it?
Exactly, it could be a deal breaker. I'm not sure that it does syncing with other devices. I didn't see that. I mean, it mentioned something, but I didn't see where I could sync it across my devices, or I didn't even put it on another device to try to see how that works. So I'll have to look into that, but I'm almost positive it's not there. So it's like the Addict.
Yeah, that won't either, which is a real shame because it is a great app, Podcast Addict.